All right, everybody, good evening. I know, pretty late for a video. Rare that I post a video this late, but sometimes news and information comes out late at night and you just got to go with it. I had forgotten about this, although when you line it up, it makes sense because we play on Thursday. If you play a game on Thursday, then the injury report should hit on Monday. And I did kind of have one eye out for injury updates today, but I didn't think we'd be getting an actual status report after 6, so I kind of stopped paying attention. I was busy anyway, but we did get an injury report for both the LA Rams and the Seattle Seahawks. Now, neither team actually practiced today. That is important to note because they played yesterday. That would be really, really weird to practice the day after a game. Nobody does that. But we did get an estimation, so let's take a look. All right, guys, let's take a minute so I can tell you about Sleeper, a one-stop shop for all your sports needs. You can celebrate and chat on sports games in real time with other users. You can get the fastest scores, blazing fast sports news and sports alerts right at your fingertips. And of course, you can use Sleeper to play in fantasy leagues and win real money on picks contests. This is the way sports were meant to be enjoyed together. So download Sleeper today. Use promo code SBN to get up to a $100 match on your first deposit. And you can pair that with another promo they have right now where you can get a $20 entry free with no deposit required. So get both of those things going. Terms and conditions apply. See Sleeper's terms of use for details. Currently operational in over 25 states and growing. So check out Sleeper today. Get to it and go have some fun with sports this year. Okay, so John Boyle with the latest here. Let's take a look at the image he posted. Again, no actual practice today, but let's talk about what can be talked about. I got good news, mostly good news, but unfortunately the bad news I have is very, very bad. So let's get through the good stuff, the easy stuff here. So Derek Hall, we know he got hurt against the Colts, but he did come back, finish the game. So to no one's surprise, he was projected to be a full participant today. So no worry there. Same with Abe Lucas, neck injury, but he finished the game, so no surprise. Every reason to believe he's good to go. Mike Morris, full participant. Ty Okada, full participant. Jaron Reed, full participant. Leonard Williams, full participant. And Derek Young, full participant. So pretty clean. Not a lot to worry about there. All those guys should be ready to go, and they don't seem to be really injured. Maybe they're hurt. Maybe they're in some pain. But, I mean, we're all in pain, right? We all have some degree of pain, so they'll be fine. Now, we did have two questionable players. One was DeMarcus Lawrence, which can't afford to have that happen for sure, with a quadricep. Did not stop him from playing most of the game on Sunday, so I would assume this is more of a old man thing than anything else, but he was projected to be limited today. And Cody White, after a few weeks of being on the injury report, but being full, now limited. So we'll see what happens here. Obviously, there are many things this team can do if Cody White can't go. You can activate Derek Young, let Derek Young play. He's probably about as good as Cody White overall as a player, if I had to kind of estimate it. So that should be fine. Not worried about that. There's one thing I'm worried about here, but it is a big thing to worry about. Charles Cross, who, as many Seahawks fans probably were aware of, it was it kind of snuck up on us a little bit for some of us because the team did not address this at all after the game, and nobody was talking about it except for a few fans. And then the next day, the junk hit the fan. Charles Cross did have a hamstring injury on the game-winning field goal by Jason Myers. He is projected to be a DNP today, and I'm not going to go through all the things that McDonald said earlier, but there was quite a bit of stuff said. And the bottom line is that while McDonald sounded hopeful, and he did believe there was reason to believe that Cross could play, sounded like he kind of thought that he wouldn't play. That's kind of my read. I didn't get a great feel about Cross's availability. And look, I know that Charles Cross has not had the monster breakout season some people were hoping for, but he's been good. And there's a drop-off here that we as a team may not be able to survive. Like, there is a big drop-off going from Charles Cross to Josh Jones. So that would be a big blow. The good news is it's only Monday. He's going to have time to come back, but on this quick turnaround, it would be kind of, to me, I don't want to call it a miracle, but it would feel like a blessing. And blessings just don't happen all that often in this world, right? You get hurt on a Sunday, your odds of being able to play in an NFL football game against Jared Verse and Byron Young on a Thursday, I just don't feel it. So the good news is, it seems like Cross is the only guy we should really be concerned about. The bad news is, you should be very concerned, and there's nothing we can do to replace him. Okay, so let's try the Rams now. The Rams side is a little bit shorter, but there are some pretty interesting things going on here. Let's take a look. So they've got limited participation listed for Alaric Jackson, which that would be big, but limited participation on a Monday, probably going to be good to go on Sunday or Thursday. So I wouldn't read into this too much, but we'll keep an eye on it tomorrow. And look, maybe he plays and he's not 100% himself. And if that's the case, then what are we going to get? I mean, he is a pretty important part of that team. They also had limited participation for Nick Vannett. Now, the Rams use so many different tight ends. I don't think Vannett is a particularly big part of what they do, so they can certainly survive that. And then Jordan Whittington, limited participation with the back injury. He's a guy who could see some serious playing time because of one other injury that the Rams are dealing with. But more on that in a second. You got 3 DNPs for the Rams. One is Jaden McCullough, a backup safety. He's sick, though, so very unlikely that this is going to be a problem. And I don't think he's a starter anyway. Well, he's not a starter, but I don't think that he plays a big role on that team anyway. So I don't think there's much to say. Just he'll be fine, and the Rams don't really need him that much anyway. Braden Fisk did not participate. That would be a significant one. He's a part of that defensive line that has been so good. I don't think he's blossomed into the big-time player that the Rams were hoping for, but he's still good, and they still play him a lot, if nothing else, so he's needed. But the big one, and this is the one that we kind of already feel like we know what's going on, Davante Adams, knee injury, hamstring injury, did not participate or was not projected to participate. And everything the Rams are saying kind of indicates they don't think he's going to play. And it makes all the sense in the world. It's a quick turnaround. So, yeah, that is significant. What I will say is that Davante Adams kind of feels like there are some games where he's their number one receiver almost. And then there are some games where they just use him as like a goal line receiver. Like, it just kind of depends, right? He's clearly still good and they still need him. But you go back to that first game where the Rams played the Seahawks, he had 1 catch for 1 yard. So it's not something they absolutely have to have. Now, look, you can go back and forth on that first Rams game. They needed 4 Darnold interceptions to have 21 points. Like, it really wasn't that great of a performance, but I don't know. Davante's kind of weird this year. It feels like some games it just, you turn the switch off and he doesn't really do much of anything. One thing that it does hurt is their red zone offense because Davante is so deadly at the goal line catching those slants. So that's a loss. But the way the Rams are talking, bottom line, it sounds like he's not going to play. All right, that's it for the injury report, late night injury report. I'm going to get out of here. Everyone have a great rest of your day or night. Go Hawks. More stuff coming tomorrow.